Hello everyone, today we're working on this F7 and it's a Lima and it's kind of a basket case, but let's see if I can get it going again. So this one has parts missing, but I don't know. Let's see if I can get it going again. I've got kind of a parts unit available. It's also missing its weight, which is weird, but to get into them, it's pretty simple. Just have to spread out the shell, and there's little snaps here, and that's it. And these have kind of what people call a pancake motor, which is an old design. This is probably old from the 90s or even the 80s. One of the first N scale we got, engines we got from Europe. Actually, I think it does say Italy somewhere. Yeah, look at that. Lima, Italy. Not to be confused with the Lima Locomotive Works that made the steam engines. So I think this little wire solders up to here. So that's an easy fix. But the main issue is the motor. So let me take that apart. The shell is pretty bad shape, but for what I paid for this, that's okay. I didn't expect to get something really great. So to get into the motor, you have to remove these two screws. And I'll show you what's missing. So that's the main issue here. We have parts missing. Well, fortunately, these are pretty easy to work on simply because it's one of the first N-scale engines. So back then, they had to figure out a way to make them work easily. So once you remove the side frames, this just lifts up, and then you get to your motor. So there's a gear missing here. Fortunately, I have a parts engine that has that. So we're missing a gear, and we're also missing a brush here, brush that goes here. Well, it's there, but it doesn't look too good. At any rate, I'm gonna whip out my parts motor. Found it. So this is not good for me because I want to stop being a hoarder, but that's what happens. I picked this up in a baggie with a bunch of freight cars. It was just laying there with the other freight cars. Picked the baggie up at a train show, and this one's missing the brushes. There you go. So I couldn't run it because it's missing the brushes. It's missing a brush spring, but it does have that gear that I'm missing. So there you go. So I didn't get punished for being a hoarder. So I'm gonna put that gear on this motor, and should be able to get that going in no time. Be on the lookout for stuff like that, little steel wires. They get attracted by the magnets. There's probably junk that was around the track, but that gets attracted by the magnets, and if it gets in the motor, you're in big trouble. So I'm gonna clean this out a little bit, and then I'm gonna pop these two brass retainers, and I'm gonna remove the wheels. The wheels, they come out by this insulator here. I should be able to spin that around just enough to loosen them and remove them. The traction tire seems to be in okay shape, so that's good. So then I remove the wheels. As you remove the wheel with the gear, you be careful not to lose this little gear. It'll come right off. So that you don't want to lose that, keep track of that. And then we'll pop these two clips. And these two clips also have the brush holders. So I'll remove these little springs first, and then the two brushes. And it's still full of wire wheel wires on this side. So you can see, probably you can see this brush is smaller than this brush. Probably they've been changed. So just move that to the side and remove the two little brushes. Yeah, look at all this wire that got in there. There's a lot, and it's in the motor. This could be why this locomotive was stuck. The motor brushes, if you get in a pinch, they're made out of graphite. You know what else is made out of graphite? The lead pencils are made actually not of lead, but of graphite. So that means you can use the black part from the pencil to get your locomotive running temporarily while you're waiting for the new part to come in. So I'm just going to pop these clips here. And this one, which is the rear one, has a little contact strip for the wheels. So it does pick up electricity from the back a little bit. And then these, we'll just set them aside. So that's coming along. So once you have the two clips removed, you can have the inside. So this is no longer magnetized. You can remove the little wires. And then this is your stator. And it feels really hard to move. There's still a lot of wires in there. Guaranteed that's why it was put away. So that's got a little gear on this side that moves the locomotive, and then the 3 phases. And then this is called the commutator. It's pretty ugly. The best way to clean this, some guys, they have a fiberglass pencil that would work great. Just don't happen to have one. Maybe I should order one, since I like fixing locomotives. I use the rubber plastic erasers. That works well. I'll start with my rags here just to see how good I can make that come out. So yeah, that's why I always say don't use steel wool on these, because if the fibers get attracted by the magnets, you're in trouble. This is not good. But I'll remove the magnets from the case, and then I can work, because they're square, it's a little bit easier to work on. I made some symbols on the magnet so I can put them back exactly as they were. I collected all the particles in one spot so you could see how much there was. I will also be cleaning the front part with the front truck, and you just remove this little clip. It should just snap out of it. And then I can just pull the truck down a little bit. Should come right out. And then I can get to work on this. So this picks up one side of the track, and this picks up the other side. Let's take a look inside here. Yeah, so this locomotive, it's seen better days. I kind of like that, to work on basket cases. Fortunately, I had the parts for it. We're not out of the woods yet. This could be hard to get it to go 100%, but anyways, there's no point in complaining. So I'll just try and remove this little plate. Yes, you can see that little center picks up the other side of the track. These are insulated on both sides. Oh no, they're not. So it's important that you remember which side they go. So we'll be able to clean that now. And I'll be able to take a good look at this pin. That will also get cleaned. Same with that. And same with this contact strip. And that gets cleaned. Let's see what we got here. Something fell, I'll look into it. Then let's see if this plate is easy to remove or no. Might not be. Oh yeah, they twisted it in. I don't think I'm going to mess with that. I'll leave it like that. I'll clean it on the spot there. Lima, Italy. So yeah, I'm going to use my toothbrush and some dish soap, and I'm going to clean all of that, including the body shell. And then we'll see about reassembling this. Also need to do some wheel cleanings. I like to use my rag for that. So these are pretty dirty, to be honest. I ended up using some steel wool, makes a really big difference. So while I have all that in my hands, I am going to re-gauge the wheels. Or at any rate, check them out. I have my handy, this thing is old enough. It's old enough that it says KD on it. So re-gauge the wheels. These are actually pretty close. I'm going to leave them like that. Maybe this one could use just a little bit of widening. It's not bad though, because you want them to be a little bit more tight. You want them to be a little bit more tight than not. That's going to help you to negotiate curves. And then these contact strips, I'll just clean them with my finger. They don't look too bad. We'll start with the front one. That's actually clever how they did it. They have one side connecting through the middle, and then the other side connecting through the outside. But as I put it back together, I have to be sure about which way goes where. I'm going to look back at my pictures, but as far as I can see, they go like this. So I'm going to do that. Oh yeah, now that I look at it, makes complete sense. So you have this little middle one contacts the wheels from this side, which are connected to the axle. And then the top one is insulated, so it makes contact that way. So it actually does make complete sense. Very logical now that I see it like that. Then don't forget the little pin. This little pin, and then this little plate hooked up to the magnet. And then this little plate goes here, and it's 2 screws. And that will be that. Then that goes back into the frame with its little plate. And then we can work on the motor. So on the motor, I made some marks on the magnet so I could remember which way they go. And now I can start using some lubrication because we're going to put everything back together. Okay, and I need to lubricate this bearing over here. Just 1 drop will do. And I also need to bring in my gear from the donor motor. This big gear here. Same thing, just 1 drop will do. So then we'll bring this in. Nice and easy. You have to bend a little shaft here just a little bit. That is a hard fit. And then bring in your main rotor. Every step of the way, make sure that everything turns. Well, it's made out of steel, so it's attracted to the magnet, so they will try to influence the the rotation. So far so good. I put just a drop on the shaft because I don't want the lubrication to go on the commutator. And then I will check that everything spins correctly, and it does not, so I have to go back and check everything again. It's possible that there's several versions of this, so I went back and I used my donor motor as the basis, so that seems to turn pretty well. We'll know pretty soon if I can make this work. Apparently there's several kinds of these, so one with plastic gears and one with brass gears. So I had to mix and match everything, try and get a working locomotive, but I think it's gonna work. I still have to put my two little brushes in, but we'll do that and then we can try out this motor. Yeah, it's not looking good for this one, so instead I'll focus on this other one, which is in much better shape. So I'll just do a quick lubrication and cleaning on this one. This one has a slightly different drive system and it only picks up electricity from the front here. But it's really cool the way they set it up. They have little springs, actually makes a little suspension for it. So that's really neat. I just have to put the weight back on, and it's a pretty big weight. I have to get the wires out of the way. And then its little screw. So the light still works. This one's in much better shape. Light still works, motor still works. So we'll be able to run some trains pretty soon. The shell is not the most detailed out there, but it's still kind of neat. You can see the Wabash flag. Wabash was one of the first railroads to be bought up by the Norfolk and Western. So it probably gave rise to the expression fallen flags. So I'll just put the shell back on this. It's just 2 snaps. And now it's time to run some trains. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. I certainly had fun making it for you. See you soon.